All right, I want to talk to you about how we show up in life. And this may seem like common sense, but in reality, this can happen like that in an instant. And we can go from experiences to results in not a fun way or a way that we want them to happen. But if we could start to understand the process our body and mind goes through from the beginning to end in any event, any argument, any conversation, any negotiation, we can start to back it up and slow our responses a little bit to have a different result. So the first thing we have is experiences. We all have different life experiences. We come into life in childhood and maybe we lived in a home that was very negative. Maybe it was ultra positive. We have experiences from childhood to present. It doesn't matter what they are, positive or negative. We all have them. Some are deeper, some stick with us, some don't go away. Some are good. Okay. But those experiences impact number 2, which is our perceptions. And that's the way we interpret or think about something that just happened. So an event, a conversation, an argument. Based on our past experiences, our perception starts coming in. So have you ever heard how like you can have one event and you can have 5 people watch the same exact event, same words, and they all come out with a different perception of what happened? It's because in our brain and our bodies, it is based on your experiences. And everybody has individual ones. So those perceptions then go to number 3, and we have beliefs and thoughts about everything. Those are our deep values, those deep seated inside of us that are our core values of who we are, that we believe, the truth that we believe, the thoughts that we think about people, events, the world, whatever it is. Then those trigger your emotions. And those are the feelings that show up in a conversation, negotiation, an event, an argument. They can range, there's hundreds of emotions, which then turn into our actions, the thing that is done, right? Then that turns into the results, the outcome. So self-explanatory, it seems. However, if you can go from experience, have an event, get your perception of it to result in a millisecond, a lot of things that can happen that you don't want to have happen. You ever say in an argument things that you wish you never said? Like, I didn't really mean that. I was just angry. And it comes out. Have you ever had experiences where you grew up in a home where everything was negative? The parents fought all the time, right? So then now you're an adult and you're in a conversation with somebody that feels like they're getting angry with you. Well, your anxiety starts to rise already in your body because it's been trained from childhood to do that if you haven't done anything about it, right? Or haven't learned these skills. Then that what triggers a belief or thought. Oh my gosh, this person's getting mad at me. My anxiety is going up. This is getting ready to be really, really bad. I'm not liking it. That's where we get that fight, flight, freeze, which turns into our emotions. What are we going to do to it? We're either going to flee and conflict avoid, or we're going to fight. So let's say we've moved to anger because we don't know how to deal with it. And somebody's coming at us. We're getting really defensive and really critical back. And then we go into action and we jump up and we start screaming and yelling. Maybe we've punched a wall. Maybe we've pushed somebody. I don't know. I hope not. But sometimes the anger gets out of control in the action like that. Split second. And then we have the result. People end up hurt physically and emotionally, right? Our words wound. Physical absolutely wounds. That turns into abuse, but our words wound. And sometimes we regret them. So how does this work? First, you got to acknowledge that this is the steps that's happening, right? And you got to understand that whoever you're with, let's say it's a negative argument, whoever you're with, they are perceiving the same event in a different way. Not because it's wrong or you're right or they're right, but because their experiences have told them this is the way you perceive it, right? You both could be perceiving it wrong. But boy, when we perceive something, we think we're right. So when we start arguing with somebody, we fight to be agreed with. We fight to have them say, oh, yes, I've seen the light. Like, how could I have ever been wrong? How often does that happen? It doesn't. So if you can take this and then you can learn how to back it up and stop and pause and calm down your emotions before the action, you change the result. So think of a time in your life that this has happened and walk it through this process. Then the next time an event happens and you think, man, I wish I broke this down in that process. I want you to come back to it and break it down. How did it happen in the 6 processes? You could take any event. You can watch a movie and break it down and practice it. But the point is you start recognizing it and you start understanding where you're at in the process before you move to a result that's an outcome you don't want. Hope this helps. Talk soon.